The day my daughter dropped me off at the nursing home, she kissed my cheek and said, "It's just temporary, Mom. Until you feel stronger." 2 weeks later, my neighbor called to ask why there was a for sale sign on my lawn. That's when I knew. She thought I was confused. She thought I wasn't paying attention. She thought I was too old to fight back. She was wrong. When my husband Robert died, the house became louder. Grief makes silence echo. 42 years of marriage, and suddenly I was eating dinner alone at the same oak table we bought when our daughter Emily was 5. Emily started visiting more after the funeral. At first, it felt comforting. She brought groceries. She organized drawers. She spoke softly. "You shouldn't be alone in this big house, Mom." I brushed it off. "I've managed before." But she kept mentioning it. The stairs were dangerous. The yard was too much work. The neighborhood was changing. Subtle pressure. Constant repetition. One afternoon, she placed a brochure on the kitchen counter. Maple Grove Assisted Living. Bright smiling seniors in beige sweaters holding hands. "You could make friends," she said. "I have friends." She sighed. "Mom, you forget things." That one landed hard. I forgot where I put my glasses once. I misheard her twice. Suddenly that meant I couldn't live alone. But grief makes you doubt yourself. And she was my daughter. The child I carried for 9 months. The girl whose school lunches I packed for 12 years. The woman I co-signed her first car loan for. So when she said, "Just temporarily. Until we figure things out," I wanted to believe her. It started with small things. "Mom, sign this so I can talk to your doctor. Sign this in case the bank needs me to help. Sign this so I can manage the house bills." I read every document. Slowly. Carefully. I may be 78. But I am not blind. One form wasn't just medical consent. It was durable power of attorney. Broad. Very broad. I looked up at her. "Why do you need this?" She smiled too quickly. "Just in case something happens." "Like what?" "You know, if you forget things." There it was again. Forgetful. Fragile. Incapable. I didn't refuse. I signed. But not before making a quiet phone call the next morning. To Mr. Halvorsen. The attorney Robert and I had used 20 years earlier. He still remembered us. "Mrs. Whitmore," he said warmly, "I was sorry to hear about Robert." I swallowed. "I need to review my estate documents." There was a pause. "Is everything all right?" "I'm not sure yet." The day Emily drove me to Maple Grove, she was overly cheerful. She packed my things quickly. Too quickly. Family photos. Clothes. Jewelry box. Not everything. Just enough to look convincing. "I'll take care of the rest later," she said. The house felt different as I walked out. Like it already belonged to someone else. At Maple Grove, the staff were kind. But kindness doesn't erase betrayal. The first night, I couldn't sleep. 2 days later, I called my neighbor, Mrs. Peterson. We'd lived next door for 30 years. "How's the house?" I asked casually. There was hesitation. "Oh, well. What is it, Carol?" "There's a real estate sign on your lawn, Margaret." My chest tightened. I never agreed to sell. Well, there's an open house scheduled this weekend. I hung up slowly. Then I called my lawyer. Mr. Halvorsen requested copies of everything I had signed. Emily had submitted the power of attorney. She had listed the house under her authority. But she made one mistake. The house was not solely in my personal name. Robert and I had placed it into a revocable living trust 10 years earlier. Emily was not trustee. I was. And while power of attorney gives broad authority, it does not override trust ownership. Legally, she could not sell it unless I authorized it as trustee, which I had not. When Mr. Halvorsen explained this, I felt something shift inside me. Not fear. Clarity. She believes I don't understand, I said quietly. He responded carefully. What would you like to do? I stared out the small window of my nursing home room. Let her continue. There was silence. You're certain? Yes. If she wanted to reveal her character, I would let her. Saturday arrived. Mrs. Peterson called again. They are inside, Margaret. Buyers. Your daughter is smiling like it's already sold. I dressed carefully that morning. Navy cardigan. Pearl necklace Robert gave me on our 30th anniversary. Then I asked the facility driver to take me home. I did not warn Emily. I did not call ahead. When I walked up the driveway, I saw strangers stepping through my front door. My roses were trimmed differently. My curtains replaced. Emily stood in the kitchen laughing with a couple. For the price, it's a steal, she was saying. That's because it's not yours to sell. The room went silent. Every head turned. Her smile vanished. Mom? What are you doing here? I live here. She rushed toward me, whispering urgently. You shouldn't be here. I agree. The front door opened again. This time it wasn't buyers. It was Mr. Halvorsen. And a uniformed sheriff. Emily's face drained of color. Margaret Whitmore remains sole trustee of the Whitmore Family Trust, my lawyer said calmly. This property is not authorized for sale. Any contracts signed are invalid. The buyers stepped back immediately. The realtor looked horrified. The sheriff handed Emily formal notice. Injunction filed with the county court. Any further attempt to transfer this property will be prosecuted. Emily's voice trembled. Mom. I was just trying to help. By selling my house while I was alive. Tears formed in her eyes. But they were not the tears of a child who loved her mother. They were the tears of someone caught. After everyone left, it was just the two of us in the living room. I thought you weren't capable, she said quietly. There it is, I replied. You forget things. You're lonely. You can't manage finances. I managed this house for 42 years. She looked away. You were going to leave it to me anyway. Yes. Her head snapped up. But inheritance is a gift. Not an entitlement. Her voice sharpened. I have bills. Kids in college. You're sitting on all this equity. And that justifies deceit. Silence. I never wanted to put you in a home, she whispered. But you did. For your safety. No. For your convenience. That was the moment I stopped seeing her as my little girl. And started seeing her as a grown woman responsible for her choices. I returned to Maple Grove temporarily. Not because she forced me, but because I was planning. Mr. Halvorsen and I restructured everything. The trust became irrevocable. Emily was formally removed as successor trustee. Instead, I appointed a local community foundation, a veterans housing charity, a scholarship fund at Roberts Old High School, and a modest but meaningful gift to Maple Grove's nursing staff. Emily received $1. Legally required. Symbolically devastating. Then I filed formal revocation of her power of attorney and reported misuse. Not to destroy her, but to establish record. Actions have consequences. Even for daughters. Emily didn't realize the full impact until 3 months later. She had already told friends the house was as good as hers. She had counted on that money. She even tried to list it again quietly. The court hearing was brief. Judge Whitman was not amused. "Miss Carter," he said sternly, "your mother is legally competent. Your actions suggest financial exploitation." Gasps filled the courtroom. Emily's husband sat stiffly beside her. The realtor, who had tried to push the sale, avoided eye contact. When the ruling was entered into public record, word spread quickly. Church circles talk. Neighborhoods remember. Her reputation shifted overnight. And I did not lift a finger beyond protecting myself. 6 months later, Emily visited. Not angry. Not defensive. Just smaller. "I misjudged you," she said quietly. "Yes. I thought you were slipping. I was grieving." Tears rolled down her face. "I thought you wouldn't notice." "I noticed everything." She looked around my living room, because yes, I moved back home. "I didn't think you'd fight." I smiled gently. "You forget who raised you." She nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." I believed she meant it. But forgiveness and restoration are not the same. "I still love you," I said. But love does not mean access. A year later, I sold the house. On my terms. For above asking price. I moved into a smaller cottage near the lake. Paid in full. The rest of the money went exactly where I directed. When Emily realized the sale had happened without her knowledge, she called in shock. "You sold it?" "Yes." "And the money?" "Already distributed." Silence on the line. "You left me nothing." I corrected her gently. "I left you something far more valuable." "And what's that?" "A lesson." She hung up. But she calls more often now. Not to ask about assets. To ask about me. And that is the only inheritance that matters. My daughter put me in a nursing home to sell my house. She thought I was confused. She thought I was weak. She thought I was alone. She forgot something important. I may be old. But I am not finished.